Dune. Prophecy is the latest addition to the Dune franchise, offering a deeper, more adult exploration of the universe long before the events of the popular Dune films. Set centuries before Paul Atreides and the drama of House Atreides versus House Harkonnen, Dune. Prophecy provides a darker and more mature narrative, which is reflected in its TVMA rating. While the films, especially Dune and Dune Part 2, were already serious and heavy, the TV show takes things a step further, showcasing graphic violence, intense sexuality, and heavy drug use, marking a stark contrast to the PG-13 tone of the films. Here's a closer look at how Dune. Prophecy sets itself apart from the Dune movies and earns its TVMA rating. The brutality of Dune. Prophecy. The Dune universe has always been known for its political intrigue and warfare, with massive battles and powerful factions. However, Dune. Prophecy dives even deeper into the brutal side of the universe. While the movies featured large-scale conflicts, such as the war between House Atreides and House Harkonnen, the TV show doesn't shy away from the grisly details of violence. In fact, the show cranks up the intensity of the violence, particularly in the first few episodes. A key moment in Dune. Prophecy involves Desmond Hart, a character with pyrokinetic powers granted by the sandworms of Arrakis. He can burn people alive with this ability, and the visual impact of this power is stomach-turning. His first victim is a child, making the scene even more chilling. These acts of cruelty are more graphic than what we've seen in the movies, and they help establish the show's more mature tone. Additionally, the opening sequence in the first episode shows Valia Harkonnen using the voice powers of the Bene Gesserit to compel another sister to stab herself. The blood flows in torrents as she falls down the steps, making it clear that Dune. Prophecy doesn't hold back in terms of visual violence. The show continues to build on this brutality as the episodes unfold, showing that it's committed to portraying the harsh realities of the Dune universe. Sexuality and nudity in Dune. Prophecy. One of the more surprising elements of Dune. Prophecy for fans of the films is the level of nudity and sexuality the show portrays. The Dune movies, while often mature in themes, were relatively light on graphic sex scenes and nudity. However, Dune. Prophecy follows the typical HBO model of featuring more explicit content, which is immediately evident in the first episodes. The nudity is more overt, with episode 2 in particular featuring a graphic and censored scene that includes both male and female nudity. This is a sharp contrast to the more subdued romantic and sexual content of the films, and it's a clear indication that the series is targeting a more mature audience. For fans of Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, and other HBO shows that have included nudity and sexual themes, this shift will feel familiar. Dune. Prophecy incorporates sexuality into the narrative, which ties into the established lore of the Dune universe, particularly the Bene Gesserit's breeding program. However, the explicit nature of the show's scenes is far more graphic than anything seen in the movies, which might take some fans by surprise. Language and drug use in Dune. Prophecy. While the language in Dune. Prophecy is not as extreme as in some other HBO shows, there is still a notable shift from the films. The movies never focused heavily on strong language, and Dune. Prophecy follows suit in that regard. The dialogue includes some harsh words but doesn't focus on swearing or abrasive language, staying true to the more serious and formal tone of the Dune universe. What is more prominent in the show, however, is the depiction of drug use, particularly the spice melange that is central to the Dune universe. In the films, spice is portrayed as a necessary element for space travel and the expansion of consciousness, but in Dune. Prophecy, it's also used recreationally, enhancing the sense of escapism and addiction. This series shows characters like Princess Inez indulging in a powdery substance derived from spice, hinting at its mind-altering effects. This usage ties into the themes of imperialism and colonialism present in the Dune saga, where the native freemen's resources are exploited by external powers, much like how real-world countries have seen their natural resources stripped away for the gain of others. The show also explores the water of life, a potent substance used by the Bene Gesserit to undergo a spiritual transformation. This substance, which expands consciousness, is part of the mysticism and ritualistic practices within the series. While this element of the show ties back to the lore of the Dune franchise, the way it's depicted here is a little grittier and more overt than in the films. Dune, Prophecy and its impact on the Dune universe. Dune, Prophecy represents a significant shift in the way the Dune franchise is being portrayed to audiences. The TV series does not shy away from pushing the boundaries of the Dune universe, exploring its darker, more adult themes with graphic violence, explicit sexuality, and drug use. For fans of the franchise, this new direction may be surprising, as it represents a deeper dive into the complex and often brutal world of Arrakis and its inhabitants. In comparison to the PG-13 rated films, Dune, Prophecy is undoubtedly a more mature series that is unapologetic about its content. The show's TVMA rating makes it clear that this is not a family-friendly adaptation of the Dune universe, but rather a more visceral and raw portrayal of its origins. Whether you're a fan of the Dune books, movies, or new to the franchise Dune, Prophecy offers a compelling and adult look at the darker side of the Dune saga.